Autumn is my all-time favorite season. Watching Gilmore Girls and Over the Garden Wall, the crisp cold air, candles and fairy lights everywhere, and a general cozy feeling. It is late summer here and my heart already yearns for fall time. So today I decided I will spend some time painting an absolute autumn favorite, the Halloween pumpkin. But as always, I'm going to make a cute character out of it. I've been requested to show more of my painting process, so today I'm going to take you along step by step, showing you how to create your own Halloween pumpkin. So I encourage you to let your creativity run wild and follow your own inspiration to create your own version of the pumpkin. And let's spend some time painting together.
Trick or treat.
You're going to need some watercolor paper and water. You'll need watercolor paint, or if you have it, you can also use gouache paint. You need a little piece of paper and a palette and watercolor brushes. The size and brand don't really matter. If you have them, you can use some color pencils, and for textures we are going to use some pastels. It doesn't really matter which pastels, we're just going to have fun experimenting. You can pause the screen to take a look at everything you'll need, and I'll see you in a second. Hey, it's nice to see that you're back and you're going to paint with me. Or maybe you just want to see the video first to know what you can expect. Well, we're going to grab some watercolor paper and a brush. I'm going to use a small brush, doesn't really matter which one, like I mentioned before. And I'm going to use the palette for some gouache paint. The paper scrap I'll use to mix some colors and see which I'm going to use. And like I said before, we are experimenting. We do need to wet our brush before we are going to get started. You'll see we are going to need yellow and red to get some nice orange colors for our pumpkins. With my wet brush, I'm going to scoop up some yellow and some red, mix it all together, and that will give some gorgeous orange tints. We are going to paint 3 pumpkins together actually, so I'm mixing a slightly darker orange, I'm going to do like a medium orange and a lighter version. It is also possible to have one orange color you have mixed and use it for all 3 of your pumpkins if you think that will look better for you. You may have noticed that I clean my brush in between when I am taking some new yellow paint, and I do this so I won't get any red or orange paint in the yellow or yellow paint in the red, but in the end, while I'm mixing for a little while, it will all just be one big orange mess, I must admit, and there's no shame in that. You just saw my watercolor palette and it's just very difficult to keep clean when you are in the midst of the work. I do like to grab some fresh water every now and then so I can keep my brush fairly clean. I like to use a paper scrap that is the exact same paper of the painting itself, because that way I can already see what the color will exactly look like on paper. And this is just a fun little hack that I've been using ever since I started painting. And it just also is a very nice way to use the paper that you have cut off or that is a little bit damaged, and you can put it to good use that way. So the same process I just showed you can also be done with watercolors, and here I am adding some red to the yellow on the palette itself. I can't believe I did that, but anyways, we do have some nice varieties of orange, just focus on that. And we are going to start the painting by wetting our brush, so we have clean water again. And to start off, there should be a fair amount of water on our brush, like you see here. We are going to make the pumpkin shape with water first on the paper, and that is to add watercolor or gouache later on. So you can see here that you can already make out the shape of the pumpkin when holding the paper up to the light. And we are going to add the watercolor and gouache to that shape, so we get some nice effects. That was what I was going for. So we are actually working wet in wet. And hey, it's really okay if you want to see me paint the pumpkin first before you start yours. We will fill the complete wet pumpkin shape with paint. You don't have to worry about the edges. I think it looks very nice if they aren't completely neat or straight. It will give your pumpkin that unique hand-painted look. Next, I like to add a bit of the darker orange for shading and some nice watercolor texture. This is completely optional though. And there it is, your first pumpkin shape. We are now going to let it dry, and in the meantime we are going to use that time to create the second and the third pumpkin, so we won't let that drying time go to waste. I will try to vary in the shapes of the pumpkins to mix it up and try to add some different poses, so we do not paint the exact same character 2 or 3 times in a row. Other than that, I'm going to repeat the same steps I made with the first pumpkin. I will make sure that each pumpkin has its own unique orange color. Now that our pumpkin base shapes are finished, we will start to add texture, and that is truly where my favorite part begins. We'll show you this little fellow as an example. See how it has these rough textures and colors on top of the base orange color? We can add these textures using pencil and pastels. Please use them as roughly and generously as you like. Now that we added the texture, we're of course also going to be drawing some lines on the pumpkin. Because we are making illustrations and not realistic pumpkins, we can be very playful with these lines, using a mix of pencils and even pastels, to vary in the thickness and colors of the lines, giving it a quirky look. Here and there I will add a little extra texture to the pumpkin. In the meantime, I also needed to move to the other side of the table because the sun was creating shadows on the paper. I'm creating the little branch on top of his head with a green shade, and right away I'm also going to add some shadow to create a little bit more depth. And of course I'm going to add some more texture. Pay close attention as we are going to add his little eyes and his legs, because this for me is the part where our little character really comes to life. You need to think about where to place the eyes. What will he be looking at? Will he be looking straight at you, or will he be looking down? Is he a little bit shy? You may not expect this, but with such a simple character you can add so much expression and personality with these seemingly small details. Let's see what personalities and moods we can give to our second and third pumpkin now. This second pumpkin will be looking at something very interesting. He will be looking down, and there is a little bit of yellow glare coming up from the bottom of the ground, and so it looks like he found something very interesting. We of course don't know what it is, but it adds a little bit of mystery. Does your little pumpkin have a story? If you're not quite satisfied with the edges of your pumpkin, you can always add some pencil. It will even make it look even more textured and fun, I think. This little pumpkin will be shy and curious all at the same time. And there you go, we finished all 3 pumpkins. I would love to see what you made. It would be so nice if you'd credit and tag me when posting your end results on Instagram or on YouTube. But beware, painting these pumpkins leads to painting lots and lots more pumpkins. So to end this video, I assembled some of the ones I ended up creating.